What's up? What's happening? What's going on, man? For you guys that just seen me about an hour or so ago doing the crossover, man, appreciate you coming through again, checking me out. If you have not checked out the crossover, man, please do. It is something that I do with my brother, my homeboy, Ham Solo, where we do an alternate thing to where we podcast on one channel and then we podcast on the other channel. So next week we'll be on Ham Solo's channel. Go support. You know what I'm saying? Really appreciate you guys helping them out, getting them over 1,000. Let's max them out. You know what I'm saying? Try to get them to the highest peaks for 2024, man. You know what I'm saying? So go reach out and support. Also, we'll be trying to get ready to do the Dev and the Gamer tomorrow. If not, tomorrow will be Wednesday, whatever. I'm got to get in touch with Don first, but I'm pretty sure he'll be on board. So we just got conflicting things going on, me and Don. So, and I know people like listening to hearing his perspective and stuff like that. And go support my brother, the Don, too. You know what I'm saying? He out there, he streams. You know, he's doing his thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Go support him too. But anyway, it's been long overdue. I've been wanting to talk about this ever since last week, but just life had to take care of things and had to do all this and that. But anyway, here we get to finally talk about it, and so I'm excited. Not excited in the sense of excited for what I want to talk about, just excited to finally get to talk about it because I've said things about this for a few years now, and usually when I say things, it usually takes time before it actually starts to make sense to some people. Most of the time, to other people, it just kind of just don't. And then when it comes out to look at when I make these predictions and these things come true, of course you don't hear from certain people. But for the other, it does feel good to when people do acknowledge it, like, hey, Megan, you said that a while this. But anyway, I was talking about Sony's issues probably about around 2019. It's whenever the Sean Layton got let go. I kind of looked at it. It was like, man, Yoshida, gets demoted, and then you got this situation going on, man, with Sean Layton, because Sean Layton at first he looked kind of strange trying to dress like Phil Spencer, but then he got into his own groove, and then he became like, a power hitter, man. So like I was, so I kind of was looking at what he was doing. Even he was, a corporate guy doing it. He was trying to do too much. I guess was trying to relate to the gamer as such. But the man knew what to do. And I think that there will be a lot of PlayStation gamers that wouldn't argue with me to the fact that they know that Sean Layton was was pretty much probably be a better CEO if he was still there than what you got from Jim Ryan. Now, I don't know how many people would debate me on that, but Jim Ryan is gone now. But while I was talking about with PlayStation being in a weird situation, it was because of the fact. There you go, Sir X-Ray. There you go. You said you was right. But the one thing that's the issue is that when you have all this turnover, when you have all this, and by the way, I'm saying, I think it looks just like me. I think my little pop looks just like me, a little bit darker, what I'm saying, but I do turn that tone when I'm out in the sun and stuff. If you see my pictures when I was out in Cozumel, you seen that I was, a beautiful bronze, Anyway, let me stop that. Speaking of that, I can't wait to go on another excursion. It was so fun. But the one situation why I was like, oh, wait a minute. Is there a chink in the armor of the mighty PlayStation? There's something amiss here. There's people that are leaving, even though now, and I didn't really look at it when Andrew House left, right? And if you've heard me say it before, like, I mean, Andrew House is a legend, like, hold on. PlayStation, but PlayStation was at its apex with the PlayStation 4. You would say, well, I wouldn't say apex. PlayStation 2 was at the apex, but PlayStation 4 was kind of like in this realm by itself. Like it was just absolutely untouchable. Like, the Switch, nothing was touching what PlayStation 4 was doing. So, okay, Andrew House want to leave on top. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Then You would think that there would be people that maybe would move up, like Adam Boyes, Yoshida, I believe that he was like the main guy there or whatever, but then he leaves, steps down. So I'm kind of trying to understand. Oh, good deal. We got Shatterstar here. Good. So I can't wait to hear what you think about my predictions and my thoughts about this whole situation going on here with PlayStation. Um, but you're looking at this and you're like, okay, all right, some of these people have been here for a really long time. For me, I thought where PlayStation was at its best is when Jack Trent was there. Jack Trent wasn't there for all that long in the position that he was in, but there was just something about Jack Trent was just like, he was one of my favorite CEOs out of all the gaming people next to Peter Moore, and now Phil Spencer. But like, bro, like Jack Trenton was the dude. And so like that whole staff of PlayStation legends, and for the people that I didn't even know about, like for the, like the Connie Booths and the Amy Hennies and all that, like didn't know nothing about them, at the time. But the more and more you start seeing these people leave or be fired, that makes you start asking the question, like, what's going on out there at Sony? Well, Sony just changing the game, restructuring. But see, the reason why I was asking this question is because the same thing was happening with Microsoft and Xbox. There was all these people that was just leaving. It was just like a mad exodus. Developers was leaving, studios was closing. And and while I was sitting here like, well, these things happen. I mean, business has turnover, but the reality is that usually it takes time for those businesses to get to rolling. Uh, oh yeah. Oh yeah, man. They say that you can make these pops, Sir X Man. But I don't know what's going on with you, Snooki. But anyway, let's stay on track. I'm looking at this whole situation and I'm like, yo, with Xbox, he had to take the turnover, all this turnover, all this indecisiveness. You got people that cares more about Windows than they do about Xbox. You got, Xbox is not getting the funding like they needed. The competition is just dog walking them. The Xbox One had all of this potential, but then not only the content creators out there from PC, PlayStation, and Xbox was hating how that system was coming about and the messaging and everything, all the things culminated into what happened with Xbox in with the Xbox One, which we are constantly reminded by the media at this day when we're a generation over. But regardless, it's like, okay, we seen what happened with Xbox, but this can't happen to PlayStation. Well, hold on, because this party is only getting started. You know what I'm saying? This is just beginning. This is not, like I said, it started in like 2018, 2019. 2020 seemed kind of weird, but then the launch of the consoles, everybody's excited about that. But I knew something was off then because the messaging, the ad campaign for the PlayStation 5 was just stagnant. And then to not reveal the consoles, which I understood that both were trying to hold off to not show anything. They were just had this little standoff or whatever, which made for good content creation, topics and things like that. But it still was odd because PlayStation was already put in the, already had already had a lead in the sense of what happened with the previous generation with PlayStation 4. So therefore, you should just go out and show what you got and just let it happen. But it didn't happen that way. Then everything else in between there, for when they did reveal the PlayStation 5, which it's not a nice looking console, but still, regardless, you still would have people to, that would stand up for it. The media would stand up for it, things like that or whatever, so forth. And the one thing that was its selling point was the SSD drive, right? But they still just did weird things. The messaging, the whole thing when people wanted to pre-order, all of that stuff, like that's just not how PlayStation operated. It just isn't. It wasn't. Now we just fast forward. Let's skip all that and let's come to today. Now I've said this, that 2023 is PlayStation's worst year ever. I mean, I've bought my PlayStation day one when it first came out in 1995 out here in the States. And even through the times when I started second guessing PlayStation during the PlayStation 3 era when I got hacked and all that, when people try to lie and say I didn't get hacked or the things that I told them would happen, that was a lie and all that bullshit, whatever. But the thing to me was that, like, okay, so I'm like, man, I cannot keep continuing to trust this company for this reason. First, you asked me to pay $600 for your console. Secondly, then my account is not secure. My account information is not secure, and we got all these other issues hopping off. And then, like, the console itself, like, I mean, the competition of the 360 is just so much more innovative. It's got so much more content. It's just a better overall console compared to the PlayStation 3. So the second guessing just started to happen. But even through all that, I still looked at PlayStation as that, look, man, it's the monster that you just can't throttle. Till today. Here we go. This was just posted about maybe a couple of hours ago. Here's another person that worked for Sony that is now working at Microsoft. The new person that's out here, the lady that's, I don't know if you've seen these articles that came out, but she's going to Japan, and she's a former Sony employee, saying that it's better to put games on Xbox, because if the games that you were holding on as exclusive for PlayStation isn't working for you, and in reality, it's not. How can you tell me that? How can you sit here and you can tell me that PlayStation games, that the games that are exclusive, that were third party, like Final Fantasy, is done very well, when each Final Fantasy outside of Final Fantasy 15 is sold less than Final Fantasy 15. Every last one of those exclusive Final Fantasy sold less than Final Fantasy 15. And I don't want to hear the excuse about, well, you had PC, Xbox, blah, 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 whatever. You had this. You still had 100 and some million consoles in the wild when Final Fantasy VII Remake dropped. And you sold 7 million. I mean, that's great numbers, but that still wasn't anywhere equivalent to what happened with Final Fantasy 15. Then you go to Final Fantasy 16, but let's go to Forspoken, which is another it's a timed exclusive, or if for right now at this point in time, it's an exclusive. Did so poorly that the studio got absorbed. Like, it's done. We'll never see another Forspoken. The DLC, which I bought the game, I supported it, I played it, I beat it, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good game. It was rough at spots. I hated the beginning of the game, but when the game fully picked up, it was a really good game. It has some of the best traversal and combat and then in most games that I played. It's a very, very, very satisfying game once you get to start playing it, get into the world and things. But here we go with that. That game didn't do well. Then you got Final Fantasy 16. The hype was 3.5 million. Where we at now? And the game is on sale. I mean, talk to me, people. Talk to me, chat. I mean, I need to know something here. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on here, right? Like, PlayStation is known for, like, PlayStation 4 was just popping out the 8 million, 10 million, 12 million, 20 million, 30 million. Just games, their exclusives just dominating. It's not happening so much. And even though while those games would sell, those single player experiences were selling and those exclusives were selling well on the PlayStation 4, always in the top 10 was the Call of Duties, the Maddens, the NBA 2Ks, the FIFAs, the Fortnites, the free-to-play games. Now you look at this day today, and you got another person that's left. You have the one lady that was already at Microsoft for a couple of years that's over here courting Xbox for the Japanese developers to start making more games for Xbox and not keep them in exclusive on PlayStation, because the realities are, and she can show you data, that these games aren't selling. There's been plenty of games that I've bought, especially like fighters, that I've bought on PlayStation, and it's a wasteland. The games there's no lobbies. There's nobody there. Nobody there. That's why I've always came up to make the point about like that fighting games, racers, and shooters also, they need to have crossplay. That is the only way that you're going to have these games do it, because after so long, people move on to the next game. It has a cult following, but if you combine all the cult following together, that game can last. It's not, unless it's a Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Street Fighter, and now you got Guilty Gear added in there, DBZ Fighters. About 6-7 games, Dead or Alive. You can still get some matches in Dead or Alive. And you can get some matches in a few other games. But like a game like that just came out just the other day, Grand Blue. There are really that many people playing Grand Blue. I mean, it took a minute. Like in DNF Duel, which that's a game right there. I think it's a really fun, really cool game. But the biggest mistake was for them to keep that game just exclusive to PlayStation and PC, because even on PC without the crossplay, because those games, I mean, well, I think it does have crossplay between PC and PlayStation. Lobbies, dead. I remember the last time I tried to play DNF Duel, which was in the summer. It was probably June or July. I sat there for an hour waiting for a match. Didn't get anything. So what does that tell you? The exclusivity rights that PlayStation has been doing for the most part is not only hindering those games' growth, but it's hindering those games' long-term success. What's going on with you, child of God? What's happening with you, everybody? Appreciate it. Yeah, the math is just not adding up, man. It's just not. You got PlayStation stands that will continuously keep telling you about, well, the console sales, it's beating Xbox 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 1. But you aren't selling the games at the same clip. Tell me what other game than God of War and Spider-Man has sold better on PlayStation 5 than it did the PlayStation 4. And really, at the sense of things, like, I mean, you got to give time. I mean, God of War has only been out for a year now, a little bit over a year. So you want to wait to see what the sales were compared to what God of War 2018 did in that same span. And I understand that there was more consoles at that time, but still the attach rate, because 2022 was a great year for PlayStation exclusive wise, but you would think for people who in 2023 they starving. They got a little bit of, they got some couple of kibbles and bits, but they didn't get anything like they did in 2022. So you would think people would go ahead and buy God of War at a good clip. So I would like to see those numbers. I haven't gone checked it out. I'm pretty sure I'll do that at some point and look at and see what was the numbers within the year of what God of War 2018 did to what Ragnarok did. Even though Ragnarok was highly successful when it first came out, it was the best-selling game for PlayStation. But you know what PlayStation did to you? They finessed you, because they tried to tell you the same thing about Spider-Man 2, and by saying that it was the fastest selling game of all time on PlayStation ever. But they didn't tell you that it was only for one day, because God of War Ragnarok holds that trophy. Because Spider-Man, it took almost 3 weeks to get to 5 million compared to God of War, who got to 5 million in like 3 days. Listen. This is my boy, child of God. What he say? He says, what's up? He said, hope. Oh yeah, everything is well. My mama's doing a lot better. All that, man. Really do appreciate it. Like I said this on a crossover earlier. Appreciate all the prayers and stuff for my mom. She's recovering. She just needs to be blessed and just start doing the right things to take care of herself, man. No none of that smoking and all that other stuff, man. Because to having 2 heart attacks in 2 weeks, bruh, and she's still here, man. I'm telling you. But anyway, but that's another thing too, and this is one thing to me about the PlayStation fan, or I should say the stan. Not so much the PlayStation fan. But the PlayStation fan could be at fault in this too, because not enough of you guys talk. You let these stands get out here and sell you all types of dumb shit, and you eat it up as though it's true. And every time. And let me see what Real Game says. God of War is on PS4. That's right. I forgot about that. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Let me show that right there. You absolutely God of War was on PlayStation 4 as well, on top of the PlayStation 5. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. But PlayStation fans, you you don't your voice is not loud enough because you let the stands say anything. Because anything that goes bad, the first thing that the stand will do will tell you, well, PlayStation's number one. They're the market leader. What the hell has that got to do with games? You're losing games. You're losing games. I'm talking to you. I'm an Xbox guy, and I'm talking to you guys as though I'm a PlayStation dude. I mean, I enjoy PlayStation games. I mean, I was a diehard PlayStation guy for 20, damn near 20 years. The problem with this, guys, is that you're not vocal. You're not coming out here and saying stuff. I've heard a couple of people out the Weapon Wheel guys and a couple of other people pissed off about the Last of Us multiplayer being. It's not about the fact that the game got canceled, because games get canceled, right? But it's just like what me and Ham sit there and talked about earlier today, was that the way that Naughty Dog treated you as a fan. Like, for people who's been upset, I mean, that's been excited about this game, that's bragged about this game, that sit there and was telling people who were clowning and saying, oh, where's factions too? Where's this? Where's that? And they're saying, oh, well, look at this. This is what Neil Druckmann and his team said, right? And then when they come and they tell you that, well, we regret this, we're sorry, you know, the yada yada stuff that we always see from when they're canceling or moving on from something, they cut the comments out on you. They told you your voice shall not be heard. What kind of entitlement shit is that when it's us that sits there and pays for them to make those games? And we're the ones, because I bought The Last of Us. I got Last of Us when it came on PlayStation 3. I got The Last of Us remake. I got The Last of Us on PC. I got the remake on PC. I got The Last of Us 2 on my PlayStation 4. So I got every right to sit there and talk about any Naughty Dog game. Plus, I got Ratchet and Clank. I got all types of PlayStation games. So I got every right to open my mouth and say something. But you mean I can't be upset about this? I can't. So okay, K Mega can't, because K Mega is a Xbox first guy. Fine. But what about a PlayStation first man or woman? They can't say nothing? They're gonna cut the comments on you? What kind of entitlement bullshit is that? Why are y'all not speaking out on that? And then for the stands out here, PlayStation's number one. They're the market leader. They're beating Xbox 2-1. And some of you PlayStation fans sit your ass here and say, yeah, you're right. And what the hell has got to do while you're losing games? Persona is on Xbox. Persona is more, I guarantee you, Persona is, I'm looking, I bet you Sega's like, man, Atlas might have been like, nah, man, we got a great relationship with PlayStation. Look, man, we don't really want to do this. Sega's like, man, just go ahead and do this. You know what I'm saying? Let them do it. They begging. They thirsty over there. Xbox is thirsty. They need some Japanese games. They do it. What happened? Game Pass. And even though there was reluctant Xbox gamers out there, there's some, and some of them are ridiculous, talking about, oh, I like to play Japanese games. And now you see them over here bragging and yeah, some of you Xbox gamers out there, y'all need to be exposed for that bullshit too. To be honest. But look at what's happening. Atlas and, I mean, hell, I guess Metaphor will most likely probably be a multi-plat, but what if Xbox says, look, man, we can go ahead and pay you a little bit more. Man, let's make that exclusive. Who's got the marketing rights to Metaphor? Is it Xbox or PlayStation? Nobody don't know, because back in the days it would be easy to know which one it was, right? Like we would know that it would be PlayStation that would be promoting Metaphor, but we don't know, because I'm looking and seeing Xbox's logo on Metaphor. Look at games like Yakuza, all that stuff, right? And so while PlayStation had the great like, you know, slapback with Final Fantasy, what do the PlayStation stands do for you? Instead of helping you promote to buy these games and support them and brag about them, of like, look, this is what PlayStation do. We number one, we're blah 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 this, and what you do, y'all don't even go buy those games like that. But y'all will swear it up and down that PlayStation's not in trouble. Y'all port begging. wanting Game Pass to come on Xbox. You want Xbox games, but you say Xbox games is not high quality, it's trash, but you want Xbox games. I can't get this. Listen, let's go. There's more here. Let's go. Let my boy post up. Let's go and listen to this. Y'all are struggling right now. Y'all are struggling. Y'all need to get to it. Start opening your mouth. Say some damn things out here. At least there's some that's out here trying to say something. But listen to this. Let's go ahead and hear this.
From Sony's perspective, say anything at this point. I don't understand what's going on over there from a first party perspective. Say something. It seems like a trap to say anything about this because people are going to go be like, dude, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Helldivers 2, Rise of the Ronin, God of War DLC, Final Fantasy 16 DLC. And I'm like, yeah, that's all true. But again, I said it earlier, you know what I mean. There's something missing right now. Mm-hmm. And we need to, I feel like with some level of urgency, need to know more, because are they really going to announce these things that close to the vest? We're getting to the point now where I'm like, are they really going to announce a massive AAA PlayStation first party exclusive for, say, the fall that we don't know about yet? That's very unusual for them. But if they're going to do that, that's cool. But say something. So that's as a PlayStation podcaster, that's my walkaways. It's hard to be too upset when you have so many games from all these sources to play. But that's a lot of why we're on PlayStation, but it's not all of it. And a big part of why we're here and what speaks to our PlayStation experience the most are the high quality first party games. And there seems to be a dearth of them right now. And you can't help but notice that. And it does matter. And it is, I've been long, and not a long defender, but long been being like, just wait. But now we're kind of past the point of that, I think. Now I'm kind of on board with being like, let's fucking go, man. What's going on here?
All right. I mean, shout out to Moriarty. Sometimes like he'll say some wild shit and all that. And other times he tells you like it is. So you need more vocal people like that to come in there and to tell the truth. We know this. I'm gonna hit y'all up with what Everborn posted. That was which was very important, very impressive actually. Which adds more to this whole situation, right? But that's the stuff that, see, PlayStation guys, stands, fans, you were telling Xbox guys last generation, stand up, tell them what you want, tell them what you need. And I showed this little clip on, not clip, but it was an article from about Scalebound getting canceled. And if you remember, Phil Spencer was getting blamed for it the whole time, right? Like it was Phil Spencer's fault for why Scalebound got canceled, right? Then we found out the truth, but regardless, like 2-3 years later. But you know what Phil said? Let us know what we're doing wrong. Talk to us. Naughty Dog has told you we don't want to hear what you got to say. Sony has told you already they're going to do what they want to do. We're not going to listen to what you... How many times have you guys have asked for Resistance, Siphon Filter, Bloodborne 2? How many times have y'all asked for that, Fahim? How many times? How many times? And how many times has PlayStation told you that they're thinking about doing it, or that they care to do it, or they would love to do it, or they... Come on, man. Like... You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, what are you saying, Fahim? What are you telling me? You saying, like I said, Game Pass would cut into their money. Why would, oh, you're talking with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing right here. Is like, the whole point about Game Pass. See, they Sony finessed the hell out of y'all stands. They finessed y'all. Some of these stands, y'all smart as hell, so y'all know what to do to to get what you get from PlayStation. Of course, ad revenue, all that other stuff, maybe a free game here or there, whatever. But you guys sold your soul to the machine instead of fighting the machine, which which I wasn't agreeing with a lot of Xbox gamers when they were talking about the Xbox One because of the innovation within it. I just want the console. I want my console just to play games like the PlayStation 4. And what did the PlayStation 5 do? What did the PlayStation 4 do during its generation? It evolved. And what did the PlayStation 5? Because it came like a damn baby hybrid of the Xbox One by having a snap feature, by having all these other things, and then the whole TV. What did Naughty Dog win an award for? TV. Y'all got finessed. And then there was a lot of Xbox gamers that got finessed because they was listening to what PlayStation and some PC people were talking about. Like, you should be mad about DRM. While most of those fuckers are out there playing games on DRM through Steam. What? Listen. All I'm trying to tell you is that PlayStation is not in a good spot right now. And I would hope that you speaks. You're already talking with your wallet because y'all ain't buying these games like that. They doing movies. Man, what are you talking about? Like they made a movie about Uncharted. They made a movie about Gran Turismo. What are you talking about? Explain this to me. And if I'm buffering, please let me know in the chat. That could be just Sir X-Man's whack ass internet. So. And then, no, Sir X-Man, I'm not gonna trip out on that. I'm not gonna forget that either. Like I'm getting to that point. I'm about to be done here in a minute because I know my good brothers out there at Weebly Green is gonna grace us, and so I want to make sure that people get a time to listen to that and get that cooking popping off. But before I get to this climax to end this, you know what I'm saying, and hit y'all with the real shit of why PlayStation's in trouble and you guys need to open your mouth and say something. Is the fact of, you know what I'm saying, all these games canceled. Everything else is here. Look, man, y'all got to get it together. Y'all got to start standing up and saying something. You know what I'm saying? What Xbox is doing, right? How Xbox is positioning themselves is not only positioning themselves because they change in the game. They're doing so much more. Then they're going beyond the box. Which PlayStation is going beyond the box. I don't understand how y'all don't see this. It goes back to what we were talking about with this terms of service stuff that Sony re-implemented. I know that it was from 2013 and Yoshida guaranteed, but that was a different message then. Hell, that was a different person that was in charge. Yoshida got demoted. Yoshida's over here getting awards for indies. He's not in charge of anything PlayStation gaming. The whole narrative has changed. Back then, people were buying physical copies at a higher clip than what they are now. Back then, it was like less than 20% back in 2013. In 2023, it's 85+% who's buying digital. So yeah, PlayStation is almost out of there too. Yeah, they want you to keep buying the hardware. But if you're number one, think about this. If you're number one, why do you do desperate tactics? Why do you send your CEO to humiliate himself and beg to stop the ABK deal if there's nothing to be worried about? If there's nothing to worry about at all? Why do you get out here and charge extra, cut things, you cut down on things, fire people that's been long standing, that's been good for your company, like a Connie Booth and an Amy Henny and so forth and so forth? How would you get rid of people that's helped build your games to the level that they've been? I mean, look what happened with Ben Studios. Ben Studios is looking like it's being merged in with The Last of Us. I mean, with Naughty Dog. And let's all talk about, like, man, I don't even want to hear this stuff about Naughty Dog being the best of anything. The Naughty Dog is a fantastic studio. There's no question about that. They make great quality games. But this whole bullshit about, like, they're the best ones out there, no, man, let's just keep it real. Insomniac has been holding y'all down. Insomniac has been holding y'all down. Not Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog has been giving you the same stuff. Remember, y'all kept talking about Halo, Gears, and Forza? You keep getting The Last of Us. On occasion, you'll get a Ratchet and Clank. Getting more Last of Us. And then instead of what you getting a new IP, which everybody back then was saying, let 343 and Coalition make new IPs, creative freedom. Y'all gonna get another Last of Us. Oh man. But yet y'all act like everything's fine because you're selling consoles at a high clip. And that even is looking suspicious. So anyway, let's get to it. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? Everborn. He wrote this. It's pretty lengthy, but it's actual. You know what I'm saying? Like, here we go. Microsoft buys ZeniMax. Everyone says there's no way Microsoft can afford to make Starfield exclusive. You know what I'm saying? And Microsoft proceeds to release Starfield and as an exclusive to their ecosystem, right? Say Microsoft announced their intention to acquire ABK. Sony sends an army of lawyers flying all over the world to tell the regulators that would listen. I quote, if Microsoft were allowed to acquire ABK, the PlayStation business would never recover. Microsoft acquires ABK. Jim Ryan is leaving. Connie Booth fired mysteriously. And on top of that, her staff leaves. Bungie. Y'all, that looked like a win, did it not? It looked like a fantastic win. It's toast now. Toast. Naughty Dog just wasted more than 4 years. They've been working on that game, that multiplayer since 2014. 9 years. That's a lot of resources. That's a lot of man hours. That's a lot just to say we're going to scrap it, right? PlayStation fans do not seem to be interested in any gas games. They have seemingly bet on the company for what the company is betting on, right? Like the adjustment was to games as a service, and PlayStation fans is not trying to go that route, right? And they're saying, well, it's all about the single player, but your single players aren't selling like that. It's just not. Spider-Man sold well. It's your best-selling game for 2023, but you got 40 plus million consoles out there. What you mean? You can't get about 15 off the rip? Does that mean is there some Spider-Man fatigue? Is there people that's having that fatigue at that $70? You know what I'm saying? During the review period, we learned that Xbox boosts higher margins than PlayStation, despite only being a third of its revenue. That's another thing too. I'm trying to tell people what Xbox is over here doing. The game has just changed. And the ABK deal, it's even worse. So what do you think that they need PlayStation for when PlayStation's over here scrambling? They don't even know what the hell they want to do. They have made 4 pivots in the last 8 years. 4 pivots. And gone through 3 CEOs in the last 7, 8 years? Come on, man. 3 or 4? Come on, man. Adding ABK revenue will push Xbox past PlayStation in terms of revenue and bring the profit margins in line with Nintendo's. Absolutely correct. And Sony knew that. That's why they send the lawyers out there and Jim Ryan to try to stop this deal. And so, like he said, remind me again why we aren't discussing the future of PlayStation. That's why I'm here today to talk about that. That's why I'm here to talk about that. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. It's the fatigue of PlayStation. Yeah, the PlayStation, like y'all talk about all these quality and things like that. You're getting remakes, remasters. It'd be different if the fan base would come out and say, yeah, we're at a long time, but don't worry about it. These games are coming. But Sony's not even telling you nothing. Let's be real here. I mean, this is an open discussion. Let's talk about it, right? Stellar Blade, Her Thickness and Yams. I can't wait to see that game myself either. My. But do you think that's going to be a console seller for PlayStation? You think that game is going to hit numbers like Spider-Man or God of War Ragnarok? A soul aside. I think that's how to say it. A game that I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait to get my hands on that. I've been looking forward to that ever since I've seen that guy. He was making these games that when he was making his own little mini games that was following up behind Final Fantasy. I was like, oh, this dude is talented. I was hoping that Xbox would maybe try to jump on him, but PlayStation got that's going. I'm looking forward to that. You think Soul Aside's going to really hit? Let's be real. I hope it does. I hope Stellar Blade does well. But are they going to hit like you think they are? Come on now. The Last Ronin. I don't hear nobody really talking about it. Only it's in discussions within the console war. And then you got The Last of Us Remake 2. And you don't get multiplayer. You get an extra like mode to where if you die once, I forgot what that actual terminology in that mode is. Permadeath. You get a permadeath mode. Whoop-de-damn-do. What did I say? Lost Soul aside. Thank you, Steel. Rise of the Ronin. Whatever. But see, y'all ain't talked about it enough for me to know the name properly. So thank you. Thank you for correcting me, both of y'all. The Lost Soul aside. So yes. But are those games going to hit? That's the question. Are they going to hit like that? I hope they hit. But are they going to be in the top 5, top 10? No, they might land in the top. A couple of them might land in the top 10, and then they're going to bounce right out. And especially you're going to be charging $70. People just are not going to roguelike. Thank you. People aren't just going to just jump on these games like that. And then you got Helldivers 2, which I'm probably going to get Helldivers 2 day one. It looks fun. But is that going to hit? Come on, man. Y'all, listen. Y'all got to be realistic with this stuff. Well, you know what I'm saying? Moving to this last point right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Sit there and move to this point right here. Oh, damn, hit the wrong one. Let's see. Let me go to try to find one last one. Oh, damn, I hit the wrong button. Oh, no, here it is right here. Okay. Here we go. There we go right here. All right. And here we go with post-up stuff right here, right? Connie Booth fired. Team walks out. Multiple layoffs across the studios. PlayStation VR no longer priority. I'll give it to Christopher Hart. He's still talking about it. Man, shout out to you for still trying to hold on by a thread. Jim Ryan retired in a white tee. 6 of the 12 games as a service canceled. So that is how many games that's canceled on PlayStation? You got 6. And then you have another one. Then you got you got how many multiple studios going? Come on, man. Stop this. Since 2019, high revenue, low operating income. Factions 2 canceled. No first-party roadmap. First-party studios incapable of diversifying their content. $200 handheld sold to increase engagement on a system that is sold should be leading in engagement. PSN price increase, the highest tier, $40 per year. Come on, man. And y'all worried about PlayStation, about if Starfield and if Blade is exclusive. Come on, guys. Come on, man. PlayStation, we need y'all to wake up and start saying something, man. Because y'all ain't doing it, bro. Y'all ain't doing it. My main man Still Rain. Well, you said, he talked to me. He said they didn't have to be gas studio, but you could foster your base further by giving them an additional mode while you build a team to support the part of the game for the future. If it becomes something, yeah, right. And that's the thing. I'm constantly giving Sir X-Man his props on this, right? Because Sir X-Man said, why don't they? He said this on GRG a couple of months back, and he was like, why PlayStation doesn't take the method of following what Xbox has done, right? Because I mean, PlayStation has followed behind Xbox innovation and things multiple times, so why not do this? You already had The Last of Us having a multiplayer. Do that with your other games. Give them a multiplayer within that. You did that with Uncharted 4. I thought it actually was fun. I mean, I thought it was goofy because you dancing and doing all this other stuff, but gameplay-wise, I thought the multiplayer was fun to play. Factions was really good. That the violence in it, the strategy that you did, I thought that was really cool. Now I didn't play it constantly, but the times that I played it, It was dope. And yeah, I got cooked because I was trying to figure things out. And you know what I'm saying? But it was dope. It was dope for what I played. So it, you know what I'm saying? And that you slowly can integrate your gamers into becoming multiplayer fans while still having your single player games to be at the forefront. But you wanted to just jump all in. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of what DC did with the DCU, because they were so scared of what the MCU was doing, but the MCU had a roadmap. They had it all planned out. It took forever for them to get to that point. And that's what Xbox has done. It took them forever to get to this point, and now they're here. This train ain't stopping. You thought 2023 was a problem. Next year is going to be a problem. The year after that is going to be a problem. And the year after that is going to be a problem. And if the rumors are true that Xbox is going to bring out a new console in 2026, 2027, a brand new console, not an upgrade, a brand new one, is going to dog walk over anything that the PlayStation Pro is going to be. Because I think the PlayStation Pro is only going to be on the same tier as a Series X, or maybe slightly more powerful. It's not going to be that much substantially powerful, because you don't want, what Sony don't want to do when they do have their PlayStation 6 is to have it to where you're going to cannibalize yourself and people are going to stay with the Pro. You see what I'm saying? So it just, so when people are thinking like, oh, it's going to be so much more powerful than the PlayStation, I mean, than the Series, no, it's not. It's going to be on the same equivalent or maybe slightly higher. There might be a few things that works that will benefit them better than what the Series X does on games running and things like that when Digital Foundry do their little whatever the hell they are. But that's it. And with Xbox is bringing a new console, they got all these games. They got the roadmap. When next year we get Call of Duty to come on to Xbox Game Pass, what do you think that's going to do to Game Pass? What do you think that's going to do with that? And what I hear Stan saying, that's just one game. Nah, bro. There's Diablo that's going to have more content. Get out of ABK. You got Minecraft. You got well, then going back to you got Overwatch, you have Grounded, Sea of Thieves, that's still going strong, doing very, very well. Like, man, they got the roadmap. They're hitting on all cylinders. Only thing that Xbox needed is what PlayStation's already have, and that is those single player quality type games that people try to boast about. Hellblade is coming. I tried to explain that to people. When I was on Addict Show, I told Kid Smooth and Dirt Griggity and them, I said, yo, I know Starfield is going to be a dope game. And I love it. I love Starfield. But the showpiece, the game that's going to kill all the narratives is going to be Hellblade. Hellblade might not sell nowhere near as much as Starfield, but best believe that game is going to get nominated for a lot of awards. It's going to be a showpiece, and it's going to be Xbox's first major showpiece. And you think that they're going to stop there? That's all Xbox needs, is get those type of games added to the portfolio that they already have, and then bring back backwards compatibility. And then you're cutting your prices. You got the best gaming service out there. Do you think gamers are not going to see this shit where it's like, man, I'm paying $60, I'm paying $70 for this game. Sony's over here talking about they're not opposed to raising the price to $80. The PlayStation Pro, what? How much you think that's going to be? $600? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It just isn't adding up for where PlayStation is got the just holding on to this lead, when the top game that PlayStation is going to be going to have to pay Microsoft 70%. They're going to have to pay Microsoft 70% for Call of Duty, and for whatever that they have to pay for Overwatch and Diablo and for everything else. So of course they'll put those games on PlayStation. Sure. Thank you. That's why when what Everborn was saying, and that I've said, that King's David said, the time will come. It's not a question of if, it's when. Xbox is going to be the number one, is going to be the market leader. And as I've said, without selling the most consoles, which will make the console irrelevant, which will start pushing away the console discussion. And eventually, I say that we still have 1 or 2 more generations left between both of them before we have no more generations of consoles. There might be some, maybe some hybrid, whatever. The game is going to be so different. And I mean, and that's, look, what you're looking at, what, another 10, 16 years from now? We'll be, you know what I'm saying, most of us will be too old to even care. So it is what it is, man. I think when we look at this from where PlayStation's perspective is, they got to make, they got to make these changes, but it's not working for them. It's unbelievable how bad the Bungie situation is doing. You know what I'm saying? Fahim says, y'all are the ones that care so much. I don't care. I mean, I'm a content creator. I have to talk about these things. And I said that I was going to talk about this. So I am. At the end of the day, it's like what Ham said earlier, what Ham Solo said earlier. I'm going to sit back and with my popcorn, just enjoy this. Because if you think that Phil Spencer is going to comply to anything that's Sony, do he wants PlayStation to go away? Probably not, no, because they give good competition, and then Xbox gamers can feed off of the positive that what PlayStation does, especially also with Nintendo. But this whole notion that Xbox is out of there, they're going to be gone by 2027 and all this other stuff. Now, maybe the Xbox Series consoles will be out of there in 2027, but Xbox will not be out of there. You're not going to get Blade. You're not going to get Elder Scrolls. Hell, you might not get Outer Worlds 2 whenever that decides to drop. You're not going to get the Wu-Tang game. You're not going to get South by Midnight. You're not going to get what is that game? The game from In Exile, the Clockwork game, the game that kind of looks like BioShock. You're not getting that. You're not going to get Hellblade 2. You're not going to get, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to get Avowed. You're not going to get Perfect Dark whenever that finally gets shown, whatever Everwild will be. You're not getting that. On top of what all these other games that PlayStation was having locked down will come to Game Pass. And remember, and how Phil Spencer operates is a little bit different, right? Because Phil Spencer sit there and remember just this year, Phil Spencer was on stage with the people at Square Enix. Now, if you remember, let's fast forward and remember when Phil Spencer was standing with Yoshida. I mean, I'm sorry, not Yoshida. With Kojima. And everybody was like, "Oh, what is this? Oh my goodness! Oh, okay, they finally going to get a port. Phil Spencer been begging. They're going to get Death Stranding. Blah 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 blah." And then what happened? Then we see, fast forward about 3-4 years later, and you see OD. So what do you think that Phil is over there did to work out while they're all hugged up at Square Enix? It may not happen this year. May not happen next year. It might happen when the new Xbox drops. But best believe when Phil Spencer is there, some things is being moved. Y'all in trouble. The court hearings let all that tea out. They after PlayStation's throat. They ain't gonna play. They ain't gonna comply. They come to beat that ass. They come to take them down. You know. And listen, PlayStation fans, it's nothing being second or third. Xbox gamers had to deal with it. You're just going to have to deal with it going in the future. It's inevitable. You can't stop it. It's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? So enjoy it. Enjoy your high right now and all of this, but the mighty will fall. And PlayStation had a really great run, but just like any story, it has an ending chapter. And that chapter will be, you had a great run, and Xbox and Nintendo is now curb stomping your ass. Will the PlayStation fan still be a PlayStation fan and want to stick with the third place? Since that's all y'all really talk about. Y'all don't really talk about the games like that anymore. Don't know. Anyway, man, let me see. Oh, Chris Coleman. I got to hear what Chris Coleman said. What did he say? He said PlayStation doesn't pay Microsoft 70%. It only takes 30% commission on all game sales. Period. Just like Microsoft does. Now that deal was different. Sony, Microsoft had to pay up to there was like a what, an 80-20 split, and that was like Activision got their bigger portion. Sony got got a big portion, and Microsoft had 20%. What are you talking about, man? Oh my goodness, man! Y'all in trouble. Yeah, no blame. Yeah, Ghostwire 2, y'all might not get that, but even if you do, it's gonna be in Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all try to talk so bad about Game Pass, but man, wait till bro, it man, y'all in trouble. PlayStation VR 2. I Do you think that they'll even bring a PlayStation VR 3? They might cut that. They might cut that thing out there. Yeah, yeah. The stands ain't buying those games, man. They'll buy the hell out of COD though. Microsoft know that. And so, what do you think that revenue is going to do, since Sony don't have that money like that anymore to make those games, those third party exclusive deals, because that was part of that money that they got from us from COD and things like that. Come on, man, stop this, man. Microsoft's going, man, this is going to be, it's going to be ignorant next year. We're going to be ignorant. So you said you said where's my pop? My pop is right here. It's right here. Oh, you talking about this one right here that you have behind me? No, I got to order me one. I got to order me some, because you can make them and have them ordered. You can have them ordered. So I'm definitely going to do it. I love it. I love it. So, but anyway, what did future generations say? Oh, JT, my main man. He said, Sir X Man, hello, Nintendo. He says Xbox are buddies. He said, but Sony won't even talk to either one of them. Oh man, no, he won't. He won't. Let's see what. Well, okay, you're back talking about this. Xbox was forced to do the same and give ABK 80 like PlayStation. No, that's, remember the deal. Sony, after they figured out that ABK was going to go to Microsoft, Sony went back and said, "Yo, let's change this deal. Let's restructure it." Because Sony would be in the same rut as Xbox was with the 80-20 split. And there's no middleman this time. So what are you talking about, Cole? What are you talking about, Chris? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no middleman. There was a middleman between the PlayStation, Xbox, and Activision. There is no middleman now. It's all Microsoft's, baby. And where do you think that money is going to go? Where do you think that extra revenue is going to go? It's going to go into Xbox game development. It's going to go into Game Pass. It's going to go into marketing. It's going to go into a whole bunch of other stuff. The more that, because you know what PlayStation fans will do, they will buy Call of Duty. So, and they will buy, then they will spend money on Overwatch, and they will do everything else. So I mean, they will spend money on Diablo and all that. So, hey, you want to argue it, that's fine. But all I'm telling you is, when the time comes when Microsoft becomes number one, I hope you will still remember old K Mega, and you will come and you'll say, you know what, K Mega, damn, you was right, bro. That's all I want to hear. That's all I want to hear. Damn, you was right. That's it. It ain't no hard feelings. It's all love. We're all gamers here, right? So, uh, so anyway, man, let me go ahead and get on out of here. Let's read the poll. Pause. Let's see what the poll numbers are. Let's see. Oh, I'm over here looking at my stuff. Let's see. I'm a handsome devil, am I not? Anyway, let me stop. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and end this thing. Let me cut this thing off here. Boom. And let's go ahead. Oh, what did I do? All right. Let's end the poll, see where it was at. Got to turn this thing all the way. Oh, come on now. All right. So, what did you guys say? I said, do you think PlayStation is in trouble? 66% of you said yes, and 25% of you said no. You know what I'm saying? So, right. Yeah. And you also got to put in that perspective too, as well as that of how much money that COD player spent. I know I play COD. I buy COD every year. I didn't. There was only like I think maybe 2 or 3 times that I have not bought Call of Duty, but I bought Call of Duty twice. I mean, hell, sometimes I double dip because I buy Call of Duty on PC or on PlayStation and Xbox. But now since it's crossplay, we don't have to really do that anymore. But um, the crazy thing is that how much money I spent this year on COD. I mean, I bought the Vault Edition, and I bought quite a few skins. Now, I mean, I grinded out and got most of my skins that way, but there was just some of those skins that you got to pay for, and they're dope, man. So I don't know. Don, you say define trouble. Um, that they're not going to no longer be the market leader. That um, the way that Sony has been structured is going to change. I hope we can get to talk about that here tomorrow or Wednesday, so we can get your perspective on it. But I just think that in the sense of how people perceive Sony as being the number one selling this, that, and bigger than life entity, it's going to fall to grace, and Xbox or Nintendo can definitely do it as well. But I think that the fight will be between Xbox and Nintendo as being the market leader, and PlayStation will be second or third going forward. I just think that's going to happen. So that's what I mean, that they're in trouble. I'm not saying that they're going to go away, but what will the fair weather PlayStation fan do? What will they be like? You know what I mean? Like if they are 2 or 3. And of course, I won't be one of those people that will badger PlayStation gamers and tell them, "Oh man, look at this! You're third place." Blah blah blah. That shit's stupid to me. I hate when people say it now. But will those fair weather gamers stay with PlayStation like that if Nintendo and Xbox are fighting for number 1 and 2, and PlayStation just isn't viable like that anymore? That's the thing. That's the question. Okay. All right. I will reach out to you tonight, later on tonight. So anyway, let me go ahead and get out of here, people. I really do appreciate you coming through. I wanted to just talk to, chop it up with you. Thank you. I know I did double duty, did the crossover. Now I did this, but I had to get this out, man. And yeah, share this out, man. Like, if you have not subscribed to the channel, man, go ahead and do that. There will be no more GRG for the rest of 2023. We'll be back on the 15th of January, but Fight Night Sunday will return at the beginning of the year. I cannot wait. Got to get ready and prepped up for the greatness of Halo. I mean, not Halo, but which Halo is great, but of Tekken 8 here on the 24th of January. But there's other fighters here. There's tons of fighters out here, man, that, Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter. I need to get back on to my Street Fighter. Street Fighter is such a great game. And then there's Grand Blue Rising. Like I said, I'm going to pick that up here soon. So yeah, I hope you guys will come and check out Fight Night Sunday when it returns. But yeah, I really do appreciate you guys. As always, man, be good to yourself, man, and enjoy the rest of the podcast this evening. I'm out. Peace. I can be out if I can find the right button. All right.